A certain Latin phrase became popular during the Reformation movement. Poets and authors would actually sign their works with this particular Latin phrase. Composers like Bach and Handel would sign their musical compositions with this phrase, and even pastors would end their sermons with this particular phrase. The little phrase was eventually abbreviated into three initials, SDG, which stood for Sola Dei Gloria, or literally, to God alone be the glory. It was an acknowledgement that no matter how wonderful or beautiful the work was, that the author didn't deserve the glory, but rather God, who had given the talent or the ability, the skill to produce it. The author didn't deserve the glory. It belonged to God alone. Now, the ancient Israelites had a song in their Psalter in the book of Psalms that focused on this particular truth. It was Psalm 115, which is a devotion we come to today. It's where they acknowledged that it was not their work or effort that brought them so many blessings, but rather God's grace alone. Listen to these opening words from Psalm 115, verse 1. Not to us, Lord, not to us, but to your name be the glory, because of your love and faithfulness. Now, the Israelites could have engaged in a kind of a revisionist history in which they could have said, well, you know, look at our great nation. What a great nation we've become. We broke loose from Egyptian captivity, the most powerful empire in the world of our day. We survived 40 years in the wilderness. We conquered the promised land. And though we're relatively small, we're feared by all the surrounding nations. But that, of course, would to have robbed God of his glory. Listen to these words that God said to Israel through Isaiah the prophet. He said, I am the Lord, I will not share my glory with another, nor my praise to graven images. You see, Israel had conveniently omitted their own forgetfulness again and again in their relationship with God. They regularly complained about Moses' leadership. They rebelled against God, even worshipped idols at Mount Horeb. They failed to obey God or to drive out the inhabitants of the land in Canaan. They didn't give God glory for not only delivering them from the Egyptians, but from guiding them and providing for them and preserving them, for aiding them in overcoming the inhabitants of the land, and then in blessing them in the land of Canaan. So verse 1 begins with this, not only a proper approach to worship, but a proper approach to life that acknowledges the greatness and the majesty of God as opposed to us. You see, so many times we come to God in our prayers to advance our desires, our cause, our agenda. So many times our prayers don't sound like verse 1. Not to us, but to your name be the glory, because of your love and faithfulness. Now, there's a reason why the psalmist repeats that little phrase, not to us, 2 times. Because we have this natural fallen tendency within us, this gravitational pull to advance our cause, to seek our fame, to glorify our name, to do what we want as opposed to what God wants. And so one of life's greatest discoveries is when we come to the realization that God does not exist for us to use, but we exist for God to use. This is sometimes called the recognition formula, and it underscores the importance of recognizing the hand of God in all of our blessings. It's found over 30 times just in the book of Ezekiel. Let me give you just one example that will summarize the point. God says to Ezekiel, therefore say to the Israelites, this is what the sovereign Lord says. It is not for your sake, people of Israel, that I am going to do these things, but for the sake of my holy name. Then the nations will know that I am the Lord, when I am proved holy through you before their eyes. So here's an assignment for you. As you go through your day, look for opportunities, whether you're engaging in a meeting, whether you're working on a project, whether you're meeting with someone. Say, Lord, how can I use this time for your purposes? How can I use this time to reflect your glory? How can I glorify you? Not to us, Lord, not to us, but to your name be the glory. Sola Dei Gloria. Have a great day.